Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and welcome back to another review. Now, last time I reviewed Brain Smasher Love Story, which is the Andrew Dice Clay film he did after this. But since I wasn't a big fan, I wanted to get this out of the way first, so then I can sit back and enjoy The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, a 1990 film directed by Renny Harlin. From what I understand, 20th Century Fox saw dailies of this, or they saw something in this while Renny Harlin was working, and then he got offered Die Hard 2. And that's why both these films came out in 1990, directed by Renny Harlin. Now, like I said before in my review of Brain Smasher, Andrew Dice Clay at the time, in 1989, 1990, he was very popular stand-up comedian-wise, very controversial because people thought he was misogynistic, uh, he was sexist, his dirty nursery rhymes, everything in between. But again, he was very popular, selling out Madison Square Garden more than once. So it's like, hey, let's put him into a movie. And this is a movie I can definitely say is way ahead of its time. It would actually be nice to have a newer DVD or Blu-ray with more features, because this has about a 5-minute feature from back in the day, a commentary with Renny Harlin, which I don't remember, and the music video Cradle of Love by Billy Idol, and then the trailer. But it'd be nice to have a comment with a documentary. Interviews with Andrew Dice Clay, which I know he's coming out with a new show on Showtime called Dice. Interviews with Robert Englund. The guy's always willing to talk, Robert Englund. Maybe Wayne Newton. He was willing to talk about his involvement in Best of the Best too. So I bet he would be talking about his involvement as the main bad guy in this. Andrew Dice Clay, Wayne Newton, Robert Englund, maybe Morris Day, Renny Harlin. He could mention about how he got this, because he had done Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. So how did you get from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 to Adventures of Ford Fairlane? Was it 20th Century Fox saying, hey, how about you direct this? This is a film I always thought was underrated. The first time I saw this was on cable, and it was funnier than fuck. And I watched it again, I was still think it's funnier than hell. I think it's a vastly underrated film. I think it was a film ahead of its time. I know the critics roasted this. I know the Razzies said this was the worst film, worst acting. Razzies can shove it up their ass. They also thought Cliffhanger was one of the worst films in 1993 because it was nominated. That was like a year they had shit like Leprechaun, but that doesn't get nominated. But Cliffhanger gets nominated for one of the worst films in 1993. Razzies can suck my dick. They can go to hell, 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 as Emilio Estevez would say from Young Guns 2. But Adventures of Ford Fairlane, I think Andrew Dice Clay did a great job. Yeah, fun cast. Robert Englund, who of course I worked with Renny Harlin on Elm Street 4. Nice to see him in this. Ed O'Neill has a fun role. Wayne Nunez, the bad guy. Priscilla Presley, Morris Day, I believe Lauren Holly, Gilbert Gottfried, Tone Loc makes an appearance. Vince Neil makes an appearance. Has a great soundtrack. Like I mentioned, Cradle of Love with Billy Idol. The song that Vince Neil sings. Even the score by Yellow. It's a pretty good score. It's a fitting score. And Andrew Dice Clay, he's pretty much sort of playing his stand-up character, the Dice Man. But he's a rock and roll detective named Ford Fairlane. And yeah, this film is definitely un-PC, and I think it's a great satire on action films. That's something no one really mentions, because it really does poke fun at action films in general. It really does. I mean, like when he got gifts, like man, I don't get checks, I get gifts from all these rock and roll guys. They don't want to pay him, they just pay him in gifts. One of the gifts he got was a koala bear. And you know how the third act, everything's going to be haywire and a loved one dies. He goes to his home. The koala bear gift that he got, the fucking bad guys hunt him. And like, everything starts blowing up, because that's the thing with action films. You always have to have explosions. The witness that he has, turns out the TV blows up. Then, oh my god, the microwave, there's a timer, they run. The house blows up. Then, oh, my car, they brought my baby back. Hits it, then the car blows up. And, oh, like, no matter, it's just, these just blowing up in front of them. The dialogue is hilarious. I know on IMDb there's some trivia that one of the writers, he had a breakdown with dealing with Andrew Dice Clay, and that Andrew Dice Clay, didn't even remember his name, and the writer's thankful for that. Like, the writer doesn't like the film. But hey, if Andrew Dice Clay made the writing better, I'm all for it. I mean, it takes right from the beginning. He's on the beach smoking. He's like, "Why do I wish the world could suck my dick, Tracy?" And then he has a flashback to how it all began, where you have this band called the Black Plague. I believe Vince Neil is the singer. And I like the song. She danced, she pranced. Dun-dun-dun. The singer dies, which is going to lead up to events in this film. Same time, Ford Fairlane's in this club looking for this sort of a stalker type, this flasher type who's fucking with this female band. Actually played by David Patrick Kelly, who was in The Warriors, he was in 48 Hours, he was in Dreamscape. But even then, I enjoy the dialogue. I'm so terrific, I have my own toll-free number. 1-800-UNBELIEVABLE. Talking with a lot of girls. Oh, let me give you my number, 555. Wait a minute, 555 isn't a real number. They'll use that in the movies. And he's like, no shit, what do you think this is, real life? And these other guys fucked with him. Oh, rock and roll detective. He's like, oh, Neil and Bob, is that your name? Or is that like what you do? I will admit, the first time I saw this on cable, I didn't get that joke. But of course, Neil. You kneel, as in kneel on your legs, on your knees. And Bob, as in bob your head. So Neil and Bob, is that your name? Is that like what you do? I will admit, I'm so stupid I didn't get that the first time. And if you notice, once in a while, when I do a rant or I talk about a video, a review, a movie coming out in theaters, a video cassette, a rant on a piece of shit, I say, it makes me puke like Dayglow. I got that from this movie. Whenever I mention Dayglow, this, because there's this guy played by Morris Day that he likes. It's like, he's the only guy to talk to without vomiting Dayglow. Talking with his buddy, Carrie Wooer. I always say her name wrong. She was in Anaconda. She's been in quite a few films. She hits on Ford Fairlane, gives her a card, and as she leaves, Morris Day goes and lets, you need to shave before you leave the house like that. And I don't mean your legs. But he's a rock and roll detective, finds David Patrick Kelly, this sleazebag, who tries to fuck with him, and Dice is like, you're 10 seconds away from the most embarrassing moment of your life. He runs, and Dice goes, so many assholes, so few bullets. Gets his gun, one of those guns that comes out of the wrist, shoots like a glitter dome ball that falls on David Patrick Kelly's head. Meets these two girls, wakes up to Jimi Hendrix, and this always makes me laugh. For some reason, this is the funniest line for me. We don't see his face, but he just wakes up, and the first thing he says is these women wake up scared from the loud Jimi Hendrix music. Dice Clay just says, do my dishes. It makes me laugh every time. Just says, do my dishes. Do my dishes. I can't help it. For some reason, it just makes me laugh. And they're like, we just needed to be held. And he has a remote control. It's like, I guess you got the bonus plan. Like, he's supposed to be a cocky ass, but the movie is not. The movie knows it as well. The movie's not trying to lie to itself, saying this is a glorious guy. But again, people. I haven't seen Deadpool yet, but I know people are acting like Deadpool has never done this before. But I'm like, it kind of reminds me of this film. I got a movie that breaks the fourth wall type of thing. I mean, like the 555 number, all that stuff. Is a satire on action films. Is on PC, definitely R-rated in its language. Meets up with this friend of his who's a kid. And I believe it's the kid who would be in Blind Fury. I believe he was in Blind Fury with Rutger Hauer. And the kid's like talked with him, and as Ford Fairlane pulls out of smoke, the kid pulls out of smoke, and he's like about ready to lie. He's like, where'd you get that? Get that out of your mouth. mean, don't you go to school and listen to Smokey the Bear and all that kind of shit? And then you realize he put David Patrick Kelly's character in the trunk. Hey, have a Twinkie, snapperhead. And then just in the about ready to get in the car, and the kid's like, why you always fuck with me? And Ford looks at him and goes, you say the F word again, I'll bang you the fuck up, okay? Now get the fuck out of here. And then the kid's like, but I got a taste for you. A taste of what? Premature ejaculation? Yeah, you could be a real dick. Dick? Fuck? What kind of kid are you? Just, it makes me laugh. Takes the guy to his sort of headquarters, which Lauren Holly is his secretary. But she's like she's actually a smart woman, independent woman. Shows the band, the female band, I got your guy. And like, yeah, that's the guy. So you know what? I'm gonna let you go. Because his crime was like he was flashing them, he showed that band his dick. And so Andrew Dice Clay tells him, but we just gotta keep the evidence. And you see these like big cutters, like garden shears. It's like, now you pay. And he does this, but he doesn't really do. It's like, next time will be for real. And David Patrick Kelly gets scared and actually lands on Tone Loc's his stereo equipment because they're sitting outside. And Tone's like, you garlic breath smelling motherfucker. Today is the last day of your life. And then Andrew Dice Clay talking to Lauren Harlan, getting pissed off at, I don't make money, I make gifts. Because the next gift he got for payment was a koala bear. It's like, those fucking Australians. That continent, what is that, a country? Don't we do nuclear testing there? You know what? I don't get that food processor that Neil Diamond gave me. I don't want to make some koala burgers, some koala chips, or koala dip, huh? I mean, that's the thing. It's supposed to be silly because it's sort of being a tongue-in-cheek with action films. Like, for example, you have Robert Englund's character who's a villain, and you always have the villain that never dies. He literally is that. And of course, it's funny because he's Freddy Krueger as well. But he meets up with a friend of his, Gilbert Gottfried, who's a shock radio DJ, which I'm like, that's a perfect cast for Gilbert Gottfried. He listens to the message, and then Gilbert Gottfried's like, hey, I had sex with your prom date. And he's talking to Lauren Harlan. He's like, well, he's lying about that. At least I hope he is. I took his sister. But I mean, that's a problem with reviewing comedies, is that I'm not going to do it as well as Andrew Dice Clay does it, but I just found it hilarious. It goes to see Gilbert Gottfried, Gilbert Gottfried wants him to find this woman named Zuzu Petals. And there's this thing that they said to each other since they were teenagers. Here's to you, sucking my dick. It's just a lot of throwaway lines that makes me laugh. Like, why did I become a rock and roll detective? I don't know. Could have been a fisherman. They sell fish. They eat fish. Reminds me of this girl I dated. She smelled like fish. But then one thing leads to another. His buddy Gilbert Gottfried gets electrocuted. And then in comes the cop, Ed O'Neill. He's hilarious. Him and Dice Clay have a fun back and forth. Oh, what are you, jerk off? No, you're a jerk off because I tell you you're a jerk off. Oh yeah? Jerk off. Why are you always pissed at me? I got 2 fucking words for you, why? Disco Express. Disco Express, they blew dog. They had that shitty single that they wanted me to push with Booty Time. And then it was sung by that guy he looked like. And Ed O'Neill goes, like me, right? And then Dice goes, I was going to say he looked like shit, but yeah, he looks like you. And then Ed O'Neill going, Booty Time, across the USA. And then Dice Clay just making fun of Booty Time, bravo. Booty Time, boot my balls. I can't help it. Like, so much stuff in this makes me laugh my ass off. He's trying, saying some silent goodbyes to his buddy at a campfire. He's playing his guitar. This is like Jimi Hendrix guitar. And that kid from before comes up and wants him to find his father. And he's like, no, I can't take your money, can't take your $100. I don't need it that badly. The next scene, he wakes up and he has the $100. He's like, I can't believe I took the money. And then this woman comes in, Priscilla Presley, who now wants to hire him. And he apologized for his appearance, and she's like, no, it doesn't bother me. I mean, when I was 11, I walked in my father, who was with a Shetland pony that he gave me for my birthday. She looks down. She goes, does that excite you? And Dice, without missing a beat, goes, I don't know. Never met your father. And, and then she's commenting on he has a boner. Oh, that's just wait Stanley to go down. Stanley? Yeah, Stanley, like the power tool. Get down, huh? Rosenbar naked. Done. uh, and he does make a joke. It's like a homosexual joke, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't laugh. Just, oh, I'm fine with them, them trans testicles. And even she doesn't laugh at it, so I like to. It helped. It made me chuckle. It just is. I think also because the way films are nowadays, just going back and seeing such an un-PC movie just is great. I do think it was ahead of its time. It should have been a much bigger hit because it was a complete flop, critics and commercial-wise, and it should have been a hit. I mean, it's a fucking shame. Wayne Newton does a great job as the villain. Because I think Wayne Newton's a pretty decent actor. He was fun in Best of the Best 2. He's fun in this. He's a guy who owns a record company. And there's this new guy that he's trying to sell, and it's a shitty singer. And Dice interrupts him and starts singing. And he sings pretty well, actually, Dice. Does a song like, but I ain't got you. But I ain't got you. I mean, how many action films actually break out to have your lead guy sing a song? And to me, it's not corny. It's not laughable. It's pretty damn good. Like, he's a pretty good song, pretty good singer. And one thing leads to another. Goes to see his dead buddy Gilbert Gottfried's yacht. And he opens his medicine cabinet, and there's Robert Englund, who's one of our, sort of the main bad guy henchmen. Like, Wayne Newton's the main bad guy. Robert Englund's the main henchman, which, hey, Robert Englund is that? That's pretty damn cool. And I like that Andrew Dice Clay opens the medicine cabinet, and Robert Englund's right behind him. Dice Clay does this, and then he closes it back down. And they do a little struggle and fight. Dice, takes his shotgun and this handle on the wall that has a bunch of shotguns and some shotgun fun. And Robert Englund's character is a guy who he won't die. Like, he puts a TV on the guy's head and he comes back. He crashes a limousine, he comes back. Later on, he falls from up top, lands on the piano, and then comes back. So it's sort of a play on that, the bad guy that never dies sort of thing. Robert Englund, again, it's nice to see him in this kind of role. It's a different kind of role as this hitman type of character. See, one thing leads to another. Andrew Dice Clay and Renny Harlin get to this party to see Priscilla Presley's character. And as again, some very funny lines of dialogue. Like he says, well, I'm not going to leave the case, even though someone tried to kill me because I spent all your money on my bills. So I don't need money. I just need some questions answered. Question number 1. Do I have some money? It makes me laugh. I thought it was hilarious. And some stuff with Renny Harlin. He's trying to figure out what's going on with his Zuzu pedals, where to find her. He's at his home. The fucking koala's there, and he's actually admonishing him. He's like, what are you doing, man? You're making a mess. Stop spilling, spilling cereal. You're making a mess here. What are you doing? And he finds out who Zuzu Pedals is because she's in a music video of that Vince Neil, the guy from the beginning of the film, that band Black Plague. So he goes to the funeral. And even the funeral is like the rock star is in this see-through coffin that's circular and has lights in it. And at a point, because there's a car chase in the graveyard, the fucking coffin gets knocked down. This clear, see-through, lighted-up coffin's rolling down the hill, and all the fangirls are chasing after it. But before that, before he gets in, there's this scalper scalping at a funeral. And it's like, oh, it's $300. What? You charged the chicks $1. They blew me. Then guy's like, $300 coming up. Finds the 2 pedals, gets in a car chase with Robert Englund, who's not dead. He has to steal a hearse because his own car's fucked up. There's this woman in the back who slips through into him, and he's freaked out. And throughout the whole chase scene, we're assuming that she's dead. But then when the chase ends, she wakes up and she goes, "You morticians really know how to party." And he looks at her, like freaks out and runs away. She's like, "What's the deal with them?" Let's see. Then you have another conversation with Ed O'Neill. "It's better to be a cop like me than a piece of spam like you." "You're a piece of spam." No, you're a piece of spam, because that's what I call you. Spam. Get the fuck out of here, Ford. It plays better in the movie than I'm making it out to be. Again, it's hard to recreate comedy for review. It really is. But he gets the girl, the witness, the Zuzu pedals, goes home. That's where he finds the koala bear fucking hun. How many movies did you say that has a scene like that? And then the TV explodes. Like I said, the house explodes. "Oh, I brought my baby back." Then the fucking car explodes. One thing leads to another. Carrie Ruhr picks them up, take them back to her sorority. Some stuff happens. Long story short, they get to Wayne Newton and Priscilla Presley. He thinks Priscilla Presley is the bad guy, but it's really Wayne Newton. Wayne Newton shoots Priscilla Presley as she's trying to... Because throughout the film, this clue that he doesn't know is this guy named Art Mooney. People keep telling him Art Mooney. He's like, who the hell is Art Mooney? I didn't know who the hell he was either. I actually had to look him up. He's like a band leader from the 50s. Sang a couple songs. I can't remember any of them right now. But like she's trying to say some and he's like, aardvarks. He's getting in aardvarks? No, artichokes? No, Art Mooney. Stupid. And then she dies. He's like, yeah, because I needed that. And then he goes up. This line just made me laugh. My ass like, "You sick, confusing motherfuckers." It just, pretty much Wayne Newton. He's a lot of fun as the bad guy. I know I keep mentioning that. You tell he had fun playing the bad guy. When they least to know that he leaves, Routing and them are beating him up. He able to fuck up the electricity for him and Zuzu Pel's escape. They get up top, and then they're like on top of the Capitol Record building, and he's like doing a monologue. At least they know who the hell Art Mooney is. I'm losing my mind. And they're trying to climb down, and like he's trying to help her down. It's like, hey, don't worry, if you fall, I'll make it. And they're battling some bad guys, and they're getting shot at. At one point, I mean, the film is clearly not taking itself seriously. Anyone who says it is, you didn't see the movie. I mean, this is clearly, you could almost say a parody of action films. If you don't want to use the word satire, you could use parody. I mean, you literally could use the word parody. I don't know, does parody always have to be the Hot Shots type of parody or Naked Gun type of parody? Well, parodies, it's one of those, whatever word you want to use. And like before that, like his guitar that he loved, Wayne Newton threw out the window, and later on, well, Routing is hanging on Zuzu Pedal's legs, and the Zuzu Pedal's hanging on Dice's legs. Dice like this great reaction. Hey Zuzu, I found my guitar. I found my guitar. It's all scratched up. It's all scratched up. And then Routing is like, I'm gonna take it with me. Oh, you're tearing me apart. And then throws the guitar on Routing right into his face, and that's when he falls. And there's like a moment where the three of them are falling, and it's like an up close on each one, and when it's up close on Dice Clay, he does He does like a John Travolta impression. Oh, my hair, my hair. Oh God. Pretty much it all ends with them getting to a club, saving Morris Day, hook up the secret microphone so that Wayne Noon, while he's talking to Dice, the whole room hears it. This fun bit where this whole MacGuffin is these 3 CDs, and he takes the CD, she's like biting them, and there's a nice little thing they added in. Like when he bit him, you see like a little bit of blood, like which would have happened if you bite in the CDs. He's like, I noticed you're hungry. You know, good thing I made copies. And just Wayne News was like, oh shit. It's just a lot of fun stuff where Wayne Newton's about ready to shoot him, says, and I got the Vita, baby. And this milkshake that was introduced at the beginning of the film, do one for me. Throws it on him, takes a cigarette, lights it. As he burns, Dice is like doing this. Just so cool. And then even the ending is fun because he's like he doesn't have any money, his home's blown up, he's solved the case, he has no one, nothing, and then Robert England comes back again, and the guy's like, come on, let's go man to man, let's go mano a mano. And so Robert England drops his gun, but then Dice gets his gun and shoots Robert England dead to rights. He's like, what do you think you're doing, man to man, mano to mano? What does even mano to mano mean? Use your head, Snapperhead. Use your head. So it's the whole thing. Again, that's something I mentioned so many times in movies. Why do guys drop their guns and fight when you just shoot it? And this guy doesn't. He makes the bad guy do the cliche thing, and Dice Clay does what we would do in real life, and then makes fun of him for it. Use your head, Snapperhead. Use your head. So that's why, this film is smarter than people give credit. And that's why this review is longer than, well, maybe not too long, but it deserves it. It deserves it. It's a hilarious fucking movie. And then anytime he answers the phone, he always does this radio station thing, hit pay dirt with K dirt, and he actually wins $1 million, so, and gets with Lorna Holly, and then even the koala bear's there, and he even looks at cameras like, what, you didn't think we'd kill the fucking koala bear, would you? And it's like going bad, they're on this cruise ship, the sun, the sea, unfucking believable. You have fun music in the end credits. This film is a hoot and a half to watch. It's a whole hell of a lot of fun. Has a great soundtrack behind it, as well as a capable score by Yellow. Some fun supporting roles: Wayne Newton, Priscilla Presley, Morris Day, Robert England, and Dice Clay. I thought did an awesome job in this. That's why I wish this would have been more like. They should have taken cues to make this like this. No. Let me flip that. I know I fucked that up. Make this like this. That's what I meant. To make this movie like this movie. Because this movie needed the energy that this movie had. It had a better script, better dialogue, better humor. I would say a better cast. Yes, even a better story. And better with its bonkers humor. Is that you don't go for it, go for broke. And I had a budget behind it. And Renny Harlin knows how to do action. I know nowadays he doesn't do great movies, but I'm sorry. Die Hard 2, Cliffhanger, Prison, Elm Street 4, this movie, Mindhunters, Deep Blue Sea, Long Kiss Goodnight. I enjoy all those movies. I think they're great stuff. And people who throw Renny Harlin under the bus as one of the worst directors, I'm sorry. There's nothing more I can say other than I disagree wholeheartedly. Films like these are reasons why. I just love this movie to death. The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. I wish we could have seen a Ford Fairlane 2. Who knows? Maybe one day, but I don't know. The way sequels are nowadays, maybe it'd be best to leave it at 1, but I don't know. All I know is I love this film. I love it to death. I think it's funnier than hell. It's I would say definitely one of my favorite comedies out there. If I did a top 25 comedies, this would be in there. I say 25 because I picked that number randomly, honestly. But it could be 10, could be 20. I have to think about it. But it definitely, if I did top 25, it would definitely be in there. Love this film to death. Loved it ever since I first saw it on cable. I know my review isn't as long as my friend Michael CP's, but I still wanted to get as much of that love that I have for this movie. I love this film. It's hilarious. It's hard to do comedies review-wise, but what can I say? If you want to complain, you call my number 1-800-UNBELIEVABLE. Toll free. Here's to you, sucking my dick. Love this movie. I do hope one day I can get one of my friends Mike and that free and just watch this for fun together. Because I know I haven't a lot of stuff going on with my life. I haven't had a chance to talk with those guys a lot. I would love one day, well, A, to find this somewhere to watch, and B, just watch this together with them, just for fun and to laugh. And if you know, for me, yeah. Got a lot of shit for it, and it didn't deserve it. So, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, definitely a favorite of mine. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.